Well, welcome everyone. It's great that you could join us. My name is James Arena DeRosa. I am the state representative for Hopkinton. This is a show that we do quarterly in Hopkinton, and I kind of love the way that we do it here, in that I pick a topic and talking to town residents, and it can be any topic that you're interested in. So later on, when I give you my contact info, if you have an idea, please let me know. Just a reminder, it has to be an issue that has relevance to both the state and the local level. So if it's a hyper-local Hopkinton issue, probably another show is better for that. Similarly, if it's an international issue, that might not be for this show, but that still leaves us lots of things to talk about. We've had some great shows so far. And let me introduce today's show. We're going to be talking about food security issues. We know there's a SNAP crisis going on in this country. We'll get into those details, but we'll also talk generically about the broader issue. I have with me today the chair of the Hopkinton Board of Health, Nasiba Manan. Thank you for joining us. I also have with me the president and founder of Project Just Because, Cheryl Ann Walsh. It's great to have you both with me today. We'll get a chance to get broadly into the issues and then to some specific of what's going on today. Nasiba, why don't you start? Because I'd like you to talk a little bit, just generically, about how important is nutrition to our overall health as a community.
No, thank you for having me. So health in its entirety is both mental health and physical health, and food is the major part in it. Like, we get healthy food, we eat, we feel better, and it goes along. But more importantly, as a public health perspective and as a community, if I am not getting access to enough food, my body gets weaker, and then my immune system gets weaker. I become more susceptible to infectious diseases, and then it spreads around the community. So it is interrelated. In a community, it is bad for the community, bad for the individual, of course. In Board of Health and in Health Department, that is one of our priorities, and to keep everyone healthy in town.
Right. Thank you. It's just so foundational to everything, right? And similarly, you can't think if you're hungry. It's not good for kids and learning, and it's all important in terms of how we approach things. Cheryl Ann, thanks for joining us. And I know we're going to talk a little bit later about the SNAP crisis, but talk to us about Project Just Because. I know you do so many different things there, and we'll also make sure we put later on contact information, but talk about the core mission of what you do at Project Just Because, which is here in Hopkinton up on South Street.
The core mission is to help as many men, women, and children as possible with basic need, from food to clothing. We do 13 year-round programs, and food insecurity is a very large part of that.
Great. And I want you to talk a little bit about your history, because I enjoy hearing about it, and I want people to know you started in your garage. You started small, right? Give a little bit of...
27 years ago, yeah. I started as a mom with kids in my basement, and I just wanted to help. And I really didn't know how, and I just started in my basement with little projects, and it just became larger and larger.
Yeah, and now there's a big warehouse up on South Street. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's the food pantry for Hopkinton, but also you provide clothing. People come from really the area. It's quite an operation up there if anyone hasn't seen it, and thank you so much for what you do. All right. So let's, Nasiba, remind us again. I think there's actually misconceptions about this issue, about whether or not there's people with food needs. I still remember when we first moved to Holliston next door, and we were celebrating holidays, and somebody was raising money for the local food pantry there, and one of my boys said, like, we have hungry people here, and we do, and why don't you tell us about that, and who are they in general? Yeah.
So this is kind of also personal to me, not only as part of Board of Health, because I grew up in a third world country, and I grew up with food insecurity. I have seen it firsthand, and to have it here in Hopkinton, we are usually known as an affluent town.
Sure.
And when I saw the numbers first, it was shocking to me. I had a number in my head, but it's not anywhere close, and we'll discuss it in detail later. And the misconception sometimes is all these people that are in food insecurity, going through a difficult time, they are working people, working families, students, our veterans. So it's the misconception always is there is a handout, the food stamp or things like that. So that's one of the misconceptions. And in Hopkinton especially, I think we are finding out now that so many of our neighbors are in need, are in food insecurity.
Yeah, no, thank you. And let's jump into those specific numbers. I was actually shocked when I looked at the district numbers for how many people are on SNAP. And as you mentioned, there's misconceptions. I mean, most of the people that are on SNAP are elderly, disabled, or children, right? People don't think that. And it's and then there are people who are on SNAP in between jobs, but they don't stay on that long. But tell us about the Hopkinton numbers, which I'm still.
So the health director shared with me, he couldn't be here. So it's 715 Hopkinton families are people that are on SNAP benefits and that will struggle going forward.
Yeah.
So there are disabled residents, students, working families, our seniors, and children, of course. So this is something we have to work with going forward and figuring out in two ways, emergency basis and long-term if it continues, how to provide for them.
Yeah.
So that is something we are working on right now. And I know the health director visited PJB and he was saying it's almost 12,812 in total in the area, including Hopkinton, that PJV feeds.
Yeah.
So that's a huge number.
You know, and this issue is part of the growing affordability crisis, right? I mean, everything is getting so expensive. People are getting squeezed. People who've been here a long time have housing at the house. It's lots of challenges at the same time. So it's good to hear that. So I just want to bring everyone up to date, and then I'm going to turn to Charlene. So we're in the middle of a SNAP crisis right now because the federal government's in a shutdown. I have some commentary on that coming up. But what it means is that people who are on SNAP are not being issued their benefits. And Charlene, how is this impacting Project Just Because? We know that food security is a challenge regardless. I mean, this is kind of layered on top of it, and that's important for people to know. This has been an ongoing challenge and problem for our communities, but here we have sort of it's exacerbated. Talk to us about what's going on, and I think HCAM has some footage that will roll a little bit while you're talking about what's been going on up at Project Just Because.
Well, basically, people overnight have found themselves in a situation that they were very much on a budget, whether they're on SNAP or not. Food insecurity has been here a long time. Our local neighbors are very much in need, and they come to us, wait in lines much longer than they have in the past, and we've tried to accommodate as many as we can. But there are a lot of people in very specific health crisis. They have job crisis. Their children, they're going without food to provide for their children. It's very sad. New seniors are walking in from Hopkinton, and it's just telling us their stories of need and really the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
and 27 years doing this, it's very hard to see people making choices versus having food. So we're doing the very best we can to give them nutrition meals and provide what they really want is fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, fresh protein, and fresh bread. It's very important not to have a nutritionally on the shelf just not good food for their families.
No, that's right. Shelf stable is important, but fresh fruits, vegetables, meats, it's more nutritious and healthier for people. So good that you have attention on that as well. And I understand the lines are longer than ever, and hopefully we'll get some things done sooner. Nasiba, what are you hearing? What are you saying at the Board of Health in terms of suggestions, what people should do, what residents can do? In general, I think we're going to talk with Charlene about what specifically they can do for Project Just Because.
So when this SNAP crisis unfolded, we already finished our Board of Health that month. So we are meeting next Monday.
Okay.
So this is on the agenda, and we are going to discuss all the options on the table and see what we can do. But in the meantime, in town, we have convened a group of people from Health Department, from Project Just Because, Emergency Fund, Hopkinton Police, Youth and Family Services, and few others. They are part of this group. We are calling it Snap to It, and we are trying to see what options are there and what we can pull together for the town, and also help Project Just Because where we can. So we had our first meeting, and we shared some information for town residents, where to get help and how to help PJB. But then we are working going forward in future solutions, especially right now we are looking at our schools. A lot of parents reached out to the school, and because of their benefits going away. So in Hopkinton School, we provide free breakfast and lunch, but there is no option for dinner or take-home dinner. I know some school districts do that, but we don't have any right now. So that's something we are looking into and see what we can do.
Yeah, and I know that the other challenge is often weekends, right? I mean, I was pleased that something I worked on early in my tenure at the State House on universal school meals, which is great, but that's only part of the week. So again, sort of existing challenges. I want to take a couple minutes just to kind of lay the background for what's going on with the SNAP crisis. Some of you know that during the Obama administration, I ran USDA Food and Nutrition. I had a $12 billion budget. I had purview for serving 20 million Americans in the Northeast. And I actually was there during what was until today the longest federal shutdown. But we treated it a little differently. I literally remember sitting in my office by myself with occasional technical support, making sure that people who were on SNAP were still getting their benefits. And this was a specific decision made by the president with the people around him and people at USDA that we wanted to make sure those benefits kept flowing. And I know we try not to get too political, but it's just a fact. I mean, right now, if the president of the United States wanted to, he could make sure that emergency funds got to the people in need who are on SNAP. The other thing that the president could do, and the Republicans control all three branches of government, they could get together and say, all right, we have a budget impasse, we're not in agreement, but we will guarantee that any state that puts out state benefits to cover SNAP in the interim, because there's no debate about whether or not SNAP will get funded, that's not an issue, so they could guarantee that reimbursement. And if they did that, it changes the debate in state houses all across the country on whether we can try to look at ways to fill the gap. And then the other thing that I'd like, what about bipartisan support? I mean, Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill solved the Social Security crisis for a generation. I said the Republicans and Democrats can't get together and say, okay, we were at a budget impasse. How about if we say we'll fund military pay, TSA and flight controllers, so that's safe for the holidays. We're also going to make sure that everybody on SNAP gets their benefits. We're going to do a small interim package. It's going to help everybody who's got immediate sort of needs, and then we'll keep debating the budget. There's lots of things they could do, but it's a big game about winning, losing, and I wish they would just think about the people, but we will see. I did want to switch a little bit. Cheryl Ann, and of course at the state level we're talking about what we can do, and I don't know if you even know this, I was appointed by the Speaker to be on the Governor's Anti-Hunger Task Force. We actually started meeting before this emerged because, as we all know at this table, this has been a problem anyway for the country, for our communities. SNAP is just exacerbating it, the lack of SNAP funding. But I want Cheryl to talk a little bit. The Governor has put more money into MEFAP and support. That's over a week ago now. Are you seeing any of that yet? Is any of it coming to Project Just Because? What's happening with that boost?
A lot of people are very kind, and they're trying to help during this crisis. But as far as money coming into Project Just Because, Hopkinton Food Pantry, no. There's no money coming to us, but the Greater Boston Food Bank did do a direct produce where they brought produce for the next 3 weeks with a truck. And gave us more produce for 3 weeks without our fee that they normally charge.
Okay.
So that's,
So you get a little bit of boosted food and you didn't have to pay for it this time.
Yeah, we pay every week, but this particular direct of produce for 3 weeks isn't. But I also want to say that I think the most important thing about this, and it's non-political, is the people walking in the door need to have good, nutritious food year-round.
Yeah.
And as a food pantry and a president and founder for 27 years, we really need, if someone can help us, long term. It's not just during crisis times,
Right.
it's all time. We
Yeah.
could use help.
Sure, sure. And we're going to ask you in a minute to give us some specifics on how people can help. One of the things, and at the state we're looking at all the options. How can we help in this situation? And one of the things I've been kind of thinking through, and I've been involved in social justice community work for a long time, and in my experience, the most efficient use of any kind of funding is done at the local community level. It's usually volunteer, mostly volunteer, so groups like you. So if we look at another tranche, I'm going to suggest that we think about, sure, and we can do sort of the broad funding for the big entities, but what if we did direct payments to the food pantries, to the local food banks, so that they have the money in their hands immediately to be able to buy what they need and help the people that are in need. We'll see if I can get any traction on the concept, but it just, in all my experience, it's just a more efficient way to help people and in a more timely manner. I wanted to talk just a minute about sort of larger issues, if you have any, Nasiba, because I wanted to know if you had any closing thoughts about public health, what's going on, anything you wanted to share that hasn't come up, anything that might be relevant to public health in Hopkinton that goes beyond the food crisis and challenge that we're talking about, because I won't be back for 3 or 4 months. We do this quarterly, so go ahead.
No, sure. So this is a very challenging time for public health. We have been having funding issues with various of our programs. You are aware with vaccines, the guidances and everything, and the state already joined the Northeast Public Health Collaborative, so we are following their recommendations for now. And we are struggling with vaccines and vaccine funding, so we are currently running vaccine clinics using our grants. We got some good grants, so they're running right now, and our public health nurse is doing a great job with it. So that's one of our challenges, and of course, this food insecurity issue. And I know with PJB, a lot of organizations in town is also asking to donate to PJB to help them. The Hopkinton Community Partnership, they're also doing a drive to donate gift cards to PJB. And also for the kids, they're making little bags with non-perishable foods and leaving it at Senior Center or Youth and Family Services if they can pick up from there. So those are some of the things we're working on, and it's tough. It's tough to be in public health right now.
A lot going on. Sure, terrific. Well, thank you for all that you do, and please keep me posted on everything, but especially the SNAP project that you have, and as well as the evening meals and schools, all interesting topics that I'd like to hear more about. Cheryl, I'd like you to take a couple minutes now and just very specifically, because people ask me, I'm sure people ask you, people will say, how can I help? And I know that volunteering is a way to help, but also providing resources, funding, donations. Why don't you just take your time and walk us through it and spell it out, because we'll put it, HCAM, thankfully, will put it up on the board as well.
Running the Hopkinton Food Pantry, the very biggest thing is people are very kind, and they'll come in with bags of different food. The numbers we're dealing with, 900 to 950 families a week walking in our door being fed. We need financial donations. As wonderful as people are walking in the door with the cans of corn, the case of something, it's beautiful, and we appreciate everyone's support. But we need financial donations. We can buy in bulk. We can pay our bills, the electricity for the walk-in refrigerator, the freezer, the 18-wheeler freezer, to pay these things, to keep the meats and the proteins safe. We need financial support from Hopkinton directly to the food pantry. And we are the main resource. These people are coming every day. And that is the biggest thing. We could really have helped, but a real stronger support from the community would really help us.
Make a difference.
Directly by going to projectjustbecause.org website.
Great.
We have PayPal, we have credit cards, send a check. We are at 77 South Street in Hopkinton. We have delivery service for people who can't get to us, that are unable to come, with beautiful volunteers bringing food. We have many ways, the website, a phone accessible where someone will take an order over the phone. for Hopkinton residents only. So there's a lot of resources if you call or go to our website. And we can also, on the need side, people came in yesterday from Hopkinton. They had no idea how to get food
Great.
in Hopkinton.
And Cheryl, what's that phone number for those that don't?
508-435-6511.
Great, terrific, thank you. I really would encourage anybody who can be helpful. This is a time of need, but again, there's an ongoing need that also needs to be dealt with as we work
And
together.
if I could say one other thing.
Absolutely.
You hear about these beautiful people. This fund is getting this money from the state. This fund's getting this money from the state. And they're all beautiful people, and I'm sure they're spreading it around. We need it directly to be given to the Hopkinton Food Pantry so we can then help these residents.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd like to see more direct funding to local pantries. I think it's
That's
a better way to do it. I'm going to wrap up in 1 second. First of all, thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
No,
Thank you.
my pleasure. It's such an important issue. It's an issue I've had passion for way back to my Oxfam days, which it's centered around food and getting people sort of stable so they can live their lives and be productive. I did want to also add, we have a minute or so, in general, if anybody in Hopkinton needs assistance or support from my office, please reach out. They'll put the email up there. It's james.arena-derosa@mahouse.gov. Feel free to reach out. And if you're not sure, and sometimes people say, well, I didn't know if it was a federal issue or if it was local or state, reach out to me because we'll figure it out. If it's something going on at the state level, we will help you navigate it as best we can. If it happens to be a federal issue, we'll put you in touch with our partners there. If it happens to be something more local, we'll call them. We work really well with the town of Hopkinton. We're always in touch back and forth. Similarly with our congressional offices as well. We're happy to do that. I did want to say, and this kind of relates to this overall affordability crisis because there's a challenge going on at the Department of Unemployment Assistance. I am very disturbed about this. I actually track all of the issues that come before my office, constituent requests, and we are getting multiple people calling my office every week saying that they have been laid off and it has been 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks before they are hearing from the Department of Unemployment. To me, that is unacceptable. That's too long. I have actually had a conversation with Secretary Jones about this because it's pretty alarming. And what I say all the time is, look, no agency is perfect. There might be a glitch, a file might be lost, something might happen here and there. But if you're seeing case after case after case, and we had 45 cases last term, and it's gone way beyond that this term, to me that's a systems failure that needs to be dealt with. But what I can do, and I have been doing, and we're happy to do it, if it's been more than a month and you haven't heard from DUA, please call me, email me, and we will intervene on your behalf and try to make sure you can get your benefits in a more timely manner. We don't get involved on the actual determination. That's kind of out of our purview legally. But what we absolutely can say is, look, this person's file's been sitting there a month. How come you haven't worked on it? They need to know. So we absolutely can do that on behalf of residents and are happy to do so. So please, if you need help specifically with that, be in touch with me. But also, and we'll put the phone number up there as well. A lot of people prefer email, but whatever works. And I want to be helpful if I can. So this concludes this session of Beacon Hill Update here in Hopkinton. Again, as a reminder, if you have a great idea on a topic that we can discuss with and for the Hopkinton community, please reach out to me and let me know. I'm open. We've got some great ideas. We've done great programs so far. Happy to do more. And again, the only sort of parameter is it's got to be an issue that has relevance to both the state and the local government here in Hopkinton, local community in Hopkinton. If it's more international, it's not for us. And if it's hyper-local, again, I'm sure there's other great shows or people here that you can talk to and have on HCAM. Thank you all for joining us. It's my honor to serve the community of Hopkinton and look forward to working with all of you in the years ahead. Thank you.